Hey everybody, Failed Entrepreneur here. I make crappy videos every day, so make sure you subscribe so you can argue with me. And today I want to talk about Trump's total addiction to hydroxychloroquine, literally and figuratively it seems. The guy just can't stop talking about this drug. So it came out yesterday in the news, talking to some reporters, that Trump mentioned he is taking hydroxychloroquine to help kind of insulate and protect himself from coronavirus. Right away, a lot of flack and gasps and finger pointing and like, oh, how can you do this? This drug is dangerous. How irresponsible. And he got in trouble for taking this drug. Why? This is the drug he famously was kind of pushing at the beginning of the corona crisis, if you remember. I'm not saying it was like a miracle drug, but it seemed to have some positive side effects. Some doctors still think the drug is worth taking. A lot of others have said it's dangerous, doesn't really do anything, and can cause some severe heart issues in certain patients, maybe even resulting in death. Famously, some guy took the president at his word, and so actually drank some fishbowl cleaner that had the drug in it and OD'd on, I guess, the boomer version of the Tide Pod challenge, I guess is what that was. Trump got blamed for that because, if he had never mentioned it, the guy never would drink the fish cleaner. So obviously Trump is responsible for the guy drinking the fish cleaner. I don't know. People are never responsible for their own actions anymore, but that's been the case for a long time. However, the idea, you got to go back because remember at the beginning of Corona, as it was reaching critical mass, there was a big push for ventilators. Remember that? We need more ventilators. There's a shortage. Trump has to use an emergency bill and harness the power of the military industrial complex to make more ventilators for hospitals. And ventilators, turns out, really don't do anything. They're all sitting around collecting dust now. I made a video on this actually early in the corona crisis, but some people were speculating, and it seems to be more or less the consensus now, that what corona does is it attacks your blood. It denies your blood's ability to carry oxygen to the body. And so what happens is, your lungs may appear to be working incorrectly. You may be gasping for breath and wheezy. Not so much because the lungs are damaged. It's just the oxygen's not getting to them in the first place. However, your kidneys are suffocating, your liver is suffocating, your body suffocates with corona. And so ventilators help make it easier for people to breathe, and so that's why we need them. However, a New York hospital I read actually stopped putting people on ventilators because it was a death sentence. 80% of people on ventilators were dying. It wasn't doing anything. Hydroxychloroquine is a malaria drug which shields your blood cells from being attacked by malaria. And so the idea was that if it worked on that, it could protect your blood cells from corona and not get infected that way. Like I said, some further research has shown that it does not really do anything. And like I said, the side effects could be pretty severe when it comes to heart issues and stuff like that. Regardless, Trump, I guess, has his own doctors. Trump listened to his own medical advice, and he is taking this drug, which could explain a couple of things. Trump kind of famously right now, for whatever reason, refuses to wear a mask. When he goes out in public and he goes and visits places, I don't think you ever will, unless it gets really bad, see him with a face mask, which I get. I understand the reasons why. He's the president of the United States. Part of being president is projecting an image. Trump is very concerned about optics anyways. And so it's probably not a really good look, at least in his eyes, for the president to be wearing a mask and maybe look weak, maybe look sick. And to be fair, even if, say he did go out and wear a mask, I promise and guarantee you, as long as the day is long, is that an expression? I just made it up. That the media would be all over him if he wore a mask, and that they would. Is Trump sick? Does Trump have corona? Is that why he's wearing a mask? Should he be out? How irresponsible of him to be out when he has coronavirus. Look, he's wearing a mask. The dude's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. So I understand, like I said, not wearing a mask puts himself at risk and others. I mean, that's why you're supposed to wear a mask in the first place. But as a president, he doesn't want to, I guess, look weak. He doesn't want to look ill. He doesn't want to maybe freak people out. But he'll freak people out either way. Probably should wear a mask. Hey, the president's wearing it. We all can wear it. And, there's a lot of divide around corona. I made another video about that as well. And that just is adding to that. I mean, everything is controversial now with this thing. Everything has been politicized. And, either you wear the mask or you don't, right? There's studies on this. I think that's what that video was about. Democrats believe the crisis is way worse than we're being told. Republicans usually think it's a lot less than what we're being told. Democrats are more likely to wear masks when going out. Republicans not so much. Republicans and red states are the ones who are opening up first and trying to end the social distancing, while your bluer states are extending them. So corona has already been politically weaponized. Maybe it wasn't Wuhan lab weaponized, but it's been politicized definitely, and so it's a big issue now between the political parties, and that's very unfortunate. It would have been nice to see, kind of like 9/11, a big national crisis bring everybody together, but we'd just rather fight and squabble. But again, the problem is just there's so much conflicting misinformation out there. It's hard for anybody to know what's real and what's legit and what isn't. You got doctors calling out doctors, scientists, torpedoing other researches and results. It's just so confusing right now, and that's incredibly unfortunate. And I'd say a failure on everybody involved, on the media for not being able to get stories straight, on scientists and researchers and experts for not being able to get an idea of what's going on here, for our political leaders for turning this into a weapon, and on ourselves for letting ourselves become divided, and instead of helping each other, being pointing fingers and making this an issue as well. It's very, very unfortunate. But I'm getting sidetracked like I tend to do. I guarantee you that if Trump is taking this drug, it's just not his call, and it's just not, throwing caution to the wind. He's the president of the frickin' United States of America, right? He's got a pretty good medical team around him, and I promise you, if they agreed to take this drug, that they were going to very closely monitor and test him. I promise you, Trump probably gets tested more than anybody else in the country, right? This guy probably gets tested multiple times a day, maybe even by the hour. Who knows? But taking this drug in small amounts, monitoring him very closely, the first sign of any heart issues or other issues, they'll take him off. But he's been taking, he said, for about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. Says he hasn't had any real side effects, and as far as we know, he doesn't seem to have corona yet. So in that case, maybe it's harmless. Maybe this is like a Trump placebo. Maybe he thinks he's, trick himself into not getting corona because he thinks the hydroxychloroquine will protect him. Who knows? But I wouldn't be very worried about this right now because, like I said, if it goes sour and south, they're going to stop it right away. He's got a pretty good medical team around him. Yes, Trump is quite old, and yes, he's not in the greatest health. So that is a danger. But hey, if you aren't a Trump fan and you daydream about ways to get him out of office, excuse me, hey, you might get your wish. So I would say you should be, hoping he takes as much of this as possible. And maybe you'll get your wish one day and he gets sick and he can't continue in office anymore. Mueller couldn't do it. Russiagate couldn't do it. Impeachment couldn't do it. But hey, you know what? Hydroxychloroquine here. Maybe that's your best bet, right? So I think he'll be fine. But again, there's going to be some Americans. It kind of adds to the conspiracy, right? Well, why is he taking this? And what do they know that they're not telling us, right? And famously, there was a couple weeks ago, either after or before a White House press conference. This was like caught on not a hot mic, it was like a hot video. A White House staffer came in. This was after some reports had been published saying that corona may be very overblown, that the infection could be like 55 times higher than we see. We only see like the deaths, but we don't see the infected. And in that case, the death total, the lethality goes way down. But this staffer guy said it's all overblown. He called it a hoax, not my words, his words. And he had mentioned that in the White House, they're all vaccinated anyways. So that's why he wasn't wearing a mask. Someone asked him, I think, where his mask was. What? I almost made a video on this, actually. Why is a White House staffer calling it a hoax and not wearing a mask and says that they've all been vaccinated? What? You know what? Think about, maybe he was talking about the hydroxychloroquine. Maybe that's when they started taking it, and maybe that's what they believed to be the vaccination in the first place, which is would seem to correlate with what Trump just said the other day, that he has been taking the drug for a while. And the whole reason you take the drug is to kind of, while not literally vaccinating yourself from corona, it does, again, possibly offer some protection against it. So, hey, maybe we just solved that riddle right there. Who knows? Regardless, the sun's still going to come up tomorrow. Corona's still going to be a thing. Trump will still be doing it. This changes nothing at all. It's very, very overblown. But like I said, if the guy wears a mask or doesn't wear a mask, he gets in trouble, right? I'm sure someone wrote a news story somewhere that called Trump out for, if you believe so much in this, why aren't you not taking it, right? Why, put your money where your mouth is or something. So I promise you, if you search, there's probably an article out there somewhere. Someone made that point. So not a big deal here. He's getting monitored quite a lot, and he seems to be fine so far. So we will see, right? Teflon Don. Nothing seems to stick to this guy anyways. Not even corona. All right. I got to go. I got things to do. I know you do too. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. Leave a comment. All those YouTubers things you're supposed to say. And thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.